Okay, hello guys, how are you doing today? It's a pleasure having you here. Most of you have been wondering how to interpret the news, how to look into the scheduled news, and of course, that is under the fundamental analysis. Somebody asked me that question recently, how to interpret the news. So in this video, we are going to gradually look at the news, the calendar, how to interpret it, and of course, how to add it to our trading, right? Very key, very, very important. As we are talking about news, the first question is, what is news? I want to believe we know the answer to this question. What is news? News is simply information. It's information that we gather from here, there, and so on that helps us to make a decision. If you don't have proper information and you're making a decision, then it is as good as gambling. And that is the truth. So, as we just said, information helps a trader to know the possible direction. Is the market going up or down? To know the volatility, meaning that is it going to be explosive? Are we going to have a sudden burst in the market, or is it going to be quiet? And of course, this is going to also help us to have a rough idea whether the movement of the market is going to be short term or long term. Of course, we're still talking about the news that comes out in the market on a daily basis, weekly, monthly, and so on. Very key, very, very important. Now, a quick disclaimer for you before we continue. Please note that information we are sharing with you should be used as a form of education, but not for signals. Very key, very, very important. This business carries a high level of risk, and it's very key that you protect your account accordingly, right? So with that said, let's continue with the news, with the information that we have for you. Now, there are different types of news under fundamental analysis. I repeat, there are different types of news under fundamental analysis. Now, don't forget, this fundamentals is under market analysis, where we have the fundamental analysis and we have the technical analysis. But today, we are focusing on news under the fundamentals, and then this news gives us the scheduled news and also the breaking news. I repeat, it gives us the scheduled news and also the breaking news. Now, we are going to focus on the scheduled news for now. In this video, we're going to focus on the scheduled news because what we want to achieve is you being able to connect to the browser, go to where you have the news, because this news can be gotten from different sources, but we're talking about online, of course. Go to the browser, go to the website, get the news, and then be able to interpret the news. Very key, very, very important. So there are different sources of this news. I repeat, there are different sources of this news. You can get this news from places like the TV, from radio, from the internet, and so on, right? You can get the news. And as a matter of fact, I'm sure you must have heard about some places such as Bloomberg, right? This is Bloomberg right in front of us. Bloomberg, we have it also on TV that you can watch the news. Remember, we said you can get it from TV, radio, internet, newspaper, and so on. So here you can get news from the website, you can watch it on the TV, and so on. That's Bloomberg, right? And in Bloomberg, you can see US economy set for another cash boost if Congress backs tax deal. Ask yourself this question. This kind of information, remember it's information, this kind of information, this kind of news, is it good? Is it bad? Of course, you should know that this is good as it's going to boost the US economy. So what do you expect the US economy to do is going to appreciate. The USD is going to appreciate. You could pay attention to this news, right? So as we always say, news is very key. It's very, very important to decision making. Lots of news under the Bloomberg. We have different websites. You even have the realtors. I believe we should know realtors. Realtors also very key, very important for us. You can always scroll through. I'm sure we've all been following the news happening with respect to Israel and the rest, and of course, other geopolitical tensions arising here, North Korea, still we have the Ukraine war, and a whole lot of things happening out there, which is news at the end of the day. We have different sources. We have the fastball.com where we get news, what's happening in the Middle East tensions, as we just said a bit about the oil tankers continue Red Sea movement despite the attacks right? And of course, it is for you to know whether it is good, whether it is bad, and so on. Even Forest Factory, as a matter of fact, we are going to be looking at Forest Factory, where we get the news, where we get the calendar, and this should help us to know what to do, right? I repeat, this should help us to know how to approach the market, right? Because when you get the news, it is for you to know, because this is the news over here, as you can see, but we are going to be talking about the calendar. Still under the same Forest Factory, you have the calendar that we clicked on here, calendar, and then it gives us the news, but we're going to first of all treat the news that came out last week, January 7th to January 13th. I'm going to explain how to interpret it, and then we'll look at how that affected the market at large, right? Don't forget how to interpret the news, very key, very important. And that's what we're going to be looking at now, right? So let's cross back to that Forest Factory, www.forestfactory.com. And this here is the news from last week. Now we did something much earlier, and I'm going to explain what we did because you can see the impact here. Everything is red, but we turn off, we came here to the filter and we turn off every other thing. I'm going to put them all on and then show you what they mean. I'm going to click on apply filter. Now you can see from last week, Monday, we have some news over here. Now, first of all, this is how to look at everything. We have the date over here. You can see the date, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on. Then the time when all the news came out over here, and the news coming out affecting these currencies over here. And then impact. This impact here is very key, very important. The impact simply means that when this news comes out, how is the market going to react to that news? What kind of impact are we going to have? Is it going to be high? Is it going to be medium? Or is it going to be low? Because we have three major types. Now, if you look at the first one here, when I put the mouse on it, it says what? It says non-economic, which is like bank holiday, so it doesn't really have any significant movement as such to the market. And then yellow means low impact. Low impact means that the volatility level will be low, as the name implies. And then we have red, of course, look at red, high impact. And that's why we turned off every other thing and left only the red. Orange over here is what? Medium impact. So the ones that we should pay the most attention to is what is the high impact. You can see also on Wednesday, we had high impact here for the Australian dollar at 1:30 a.m. and so on. So once again, we are going to turn off every other thing apart from the high impact, because that is what is going to seriously move the market. As a matter of fact, it is the high impact news that normally tends to cause a lot of injuries to a lot of people's trading account. And I'm sure you listening to me, you understand fully well what I am talking about. If you have lost money, crashed account because of news, because of the volatility that was introduced, maybe you didn't even know, or maybe you knew and you traded it blindly, you didn't protect your account accordingly, you were not using stop loss and the likes, then of course you have no one else to blame but yourself. I repeat, you have no one else to blame but yourself. This is very key, very important. Now, with that said, let us interpret the news, right? Because the news in question, these are the news in question here, the CPI that came out on Monday for the CHF, which is the Switzerland francs, CPI, Australian dollar. You can see we have a lot of CPI for last week, January 7th to January 13th. And of course, we have some other news there. So this section here has to do with the news in question. And I always tell traders, you don't need to fully understand the news. You just need to be able to interpret it, basically. The CPI means Consumer Price Index and so on and so forth, PPI, Producer Price Index. But that's not what we're after. Here we have the details, the actual forecast, and the previous. I'm going to use this second one here to explain the one that came out January 8th, because we don't have anything that came out over here. So for us to understand this previous here is the previous news release for this CPI, CHF. Probably that was like a month ago. But the previous is the previous news release. And then we have the forecast here. The forecast, as the name implies, forecast is like prediction. It's like what you are expecting, possible, expectation in the market. But it does not mean that this is what it is going to be. And that is why we always say, please do not trade based on the forecast. Wait for what? Wait for the actual news to come out. When the actual news comes out at that particular time, that is when you would have a better understanding of the direction. Of course, we already know the volatility level that we're expecting since they are all high impact over here. But then the outcome over here, based on the outcome over here is going to help us to know the possible direction. I want to also state this before I continue. Traders that wait for the news to come out in order to jump on the news and then try to ride that direction, it is usually very dangerous. I'm sure you guys understand what I'm saying. A lot of things normally happen when we have high impact news. Now we're talking about the dangers of high impact news. We could easily have the likes of, apart from the spread increasing, because the spread is going to increase during that period, we could easily have whipsaws where the candle in question, maybe it's moving gradually. Next thing, the whipsaw occurs, and then you have it, that same candle, you could simply move up and down in a very volatile manner, because that high impact period is like you're pouring petrol on fire. And when you pour petrol on fire, I'm sure we all know the kind of reaction that we're going to get. So this impact has to do with the reaction. As you can see over here, all red is like petrol on fire. So the fastest way for me to interpret this news for you is this. Here, under the actual, it is the color of the figures that we have over here. The color is what we're going to be using, right, to know whether it is a buy or whether it is a sell. Now look at it this way. The actual that came out for this guy, what color is it? The color is green, 0.0%. So as the color is green, green simply means a buy. I'm going to put a B here. Green simply means a buy. Over here, red simply means a sell. And it simply means that we're selling in this, like selling AUD at that 1:30 a.m. It means that the market should sell, not that we should be clicking on sell, because you should not place trade using only the fundamentals, but rather you should combine with the technicals. Every given time, you should always combine with the technicals. Very key, very important. Traders that trade only the fundamentals, trust me, you are playing with fire. And I'm going to show an example based on the happenings from last week, January 7th to January 13th. Okay, so this one here is black. Black is neutral. It means you are not buying, you're not selling. Green here means buy, put B here. This green means buy, put B here. Green means buy, put B here. I'm sure you guys have gotten the gist. When it comes to green, green means buy. When it comes to red, red means sell. And black, black is neutral. So here is a buy, sell, and sell. So look at all the news that we have here. It simply means that at that point in time, the market is going to react in a particular way. I repeat, the market is going to react in a particular way. And I'm going to be showing you all of these reactions in a bit so that we understand much, much better. The moment you understand what happened in the market is going to help you to what? It's going to help you to follow through on the market. It's going to help you to, look at the market based on what's happening and then, be able to understand the direction, right? But that does not mean, I repeat, that does not mean that you must place trades and jump in the market immediately, because you need to combine this with the technicals. I'm going to use this as an example. Let me clean up the chart. I'm going to use this guy as an example. The news that came out on Thursday, because this was a very big one. For those that do not know, for the US dollar, the CPI news for the US dollar, as you can see, the CPI Consumer Price Index news for the US dollar is very, very heavy. When we say heavy, high impact, meaning that the movement is usually very, very volatile. I repeat, the movement is usually very, very volatile. So we're expecting volatility on Thursday. And I look at what we had for all of them. We had this one is black, which is neutral. And then we had a buy, and a buy. So that means that for this USD, buy is good to go. If we had some situations where one was a buy, one was a sell, one was a sell, one was a buy, it was scattered, then you do absolutely nothing. But you can see that this one, everything was pointing to buy, meaning that this USD, the United States dollar, the direction for it is meant to be up, right? Are we correct? The direction is meant to be up. So I'm going to show you something now. We're going to cross over to the chart and we're going to look at what happened on this Thursday in question, and then you see how the market reacted. I'm going to explain to you where it's reacted, because remember, apart from the fundamentals, you must combine the technicals, and the technicals simply helps you to know where to enter the market. So let's cross over to the charts now, and here we have the charts right in front of us. This here is the USD, the dollar index from the 1 hour time frame perspective, and we're going to do something, right? Over here, I put an arrow up here. I can see this massive candle here. This was on Thursday. I'm going to do a demarcation for you, right? I'm going to do this demarcation for you so you understand much better, right? The market has opened for today. So today is Monday here. This is the market from Friday. This is the market from Thursday. I'll put TH because we have two T's. Here's the market from Wednesday. Here's the market from Tuesday. This is TU. And then here's the market from Monday. You can see that that news that came out on Monday, that news that came out on Thursday rather for the CPI was what? Was green, meaning that we should be buying. But look at what happened. It bought from here and pushed up to this point here. And then we normally say that you must place trades using the technical analysis. If you're familiar with the technicals, this is a key area here of resistance, which acted as support, support, support. And lo and behold, that same candle was what? Was support over here, meaning buying. And then it went up to where? To the resistance. Because normally when you buy, you're expecting the price to go over to the resistance area. And that was exactly, I repeat, that was exactly what happened over here. Based on that news that we just talked about now, I repeat, based on the news that we just talked about now for the US dollar. And this is the news over here. Remember the US dollar news that we talked about not too long ago, Thursday, January 11th. And then we even had another US dollar news on January 12th. The one on January 12th, we had two that came out at 230 USD high impact. That's the PPI producer price index. Look at what happened. It was red. Red is what? High impact. And red, sell, sell, as you can see. So that means that we should expect on Friday, I repeat, should expect on Friday, right, that the market should be a sell, right? And if you look at what we have in front of us, don't forget, we did this in this manner for us to understand that this here is today, Monday, here is Friday. And look at Friday, the market got to that point here and then dropped down accordingly based on the fundamentals. And that's why we always say, guys, as you are looking at the fundamentals, you are not going to place trades based on the fundamentals alone, but you're going to add the technicals to the mix. And don't forget here, resistance, 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 areas, resistance, here resistance. And it was when the news came out on Friday and it went down back to where? Back to support. You can see that even with the news, it is respecting these areas over here, these key areas over here of this here as support and here as resistance. So you can see that the news is what is still going alongside with the technicals, because most times people might not understand what's going on, right? Maybe in a case where the news comes out and the news, let's assume that here is the resistance. Let me clean this up first of all, right? Let's assume that this side here, this side under here, we have a resistance, right? And then the news comes out, here is support, right? And then news comes out, the market is gradually at this point here. And then news, this is resistance where you should be thinking of selling. Now the news comes out, and then the news for the US dollar says you should buy. You are not supposed to obviously buy at the area of resistance, but because people don't combine the technicals, they just click on buy here. But lo and behold, you have that massive candle that just goes down to where? The area of support, as you can see, and then goes down. You have already clicked on buy here. You have your losses, maybe your account has even crashed, but then it goes to support here, and someone that is combining the fundamentals and technicals together places a trade on buy here, and then it pushes higher, even breaks its resistance and continues to push higher. And then you start to ask that question, what's going on? Is the broker watching me? Is there manipulation? Is there this? Is there that? But no, there's none of that. It's you. you are not following the market appropriately. Interpret the fundamentals, go back to the technicals, and merge the two of them together. These fundamentals is so key, very, very important. And mind you, we showed you the fast way, the very fast way to interpret it. Remember, we looked at this one here, right? Where we said it is green, and because it is green, it is a buy. The normal way to look at it, which obviously you have to click on details here, and then it gives you more details about the news. In the news, you have the source, measures, usual effect, frequency, next release, history, and so on. I always say what you should be paying attention to here is the usual effect. Usual effect is a statement. Actual greater than forecast is good for that currency. I repeat, actual greater than forecast is good for that currency. Good for the currency. Now, this is it. The actual here, right, is 0.0, right, is 0, which is the actual. We'll put 0 here. And then the forecast, you can see the forecast here is minus 0.1. Ask yourself, is 0 greater than minus 0.1? What do you think the answer is? Yes, it is. So that means that it is good. And because it is good for the currency, we are going to be buying. Simple. We are going to be buying. Now, hope you understand that. If you have any questions, you can always use the comment section below. Drop your question, and of course, we will get back to you in good time. Because what we should actually look at next is how to pair two currencies together. I repeat, we should actually look at how to pair two currencies together, but we are going to be doing that in a future video. I repeat, we are going to be doing that in another video. I just want to say something now, because as we are going to be rounding up, I want to say, guys, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for watching the video. If the video was helpful, you know what to do. Watch it again, share the video and the likes. Thank you for watching the video. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, right? Hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and of course, when we have new videos helping you out, right, and how to understand the market better, you can take advantage of it as it drops immediately, right? Now, we also have our website. We have a school where you can get more information from. All you have to do is to navigate to the website, as you can see in front of you, which is training.csaforex.com/school. You'll find the link in the description below. Here is the information of the school where you can come and learn more. We have a free webinar for you on demand. You can watch and learn more on the MT4 usage, how to analyze the market, psychology, risk management, and so on. Open a demo account. We have everything over here for you. Have any questions, you can contact us, right? Position size calculator, and so on and so forth, right? So I want to say thank you guys for watching again. It has indeed been a good one. But guys, I also want to say something, right? I want to say something that this link that we have in front of us, right? This link that we have, this school that we have in front of us, rather, all you need to do, right, is to explore and then do what? Learn, learn, and learn. Education is key. Education is very, very important, right? So we are going to be starting a series, what's happening in the first market today. We're going to be doing that for you on a daily basis, giving you updates based on the fundamentals, technicals, what's happening all over the world. So stay tuned to that. And of course, join us, as that will be helping everybody to understand the market better. And of course, it will help you to also grow and make money at the end of the day. So we want to say thank you, guys. It has been a pleasure. Enjoy the rest of the day. Trade safely, and goodbye for now. Cheers.